Hi everyone! In this video I show you 6 oil painting hacks regarding technique and materials that you need to know as a beginner artist. Before you start, consider on what painting ground you want to paint. You can paint on canvas, on gesso board, on wood or on paper even. For this study I glued a piece of paper on an MDF board. Please use pH neutral glue so that the glue won't damage the paper over time. Then I used an acrylic painting medium to seal the paper, and then I underpainted it with acrylic silver paint to have this beautiful painting ground. You can always paint with oils over acrylics, just never the other way around. So if you want to have a quick underpainting and you want to start right away, you can do an underpainting with acrylics. Also, you can use every color you like. I just like to paint on silver or golden backgrounds. The first technique I want to share with you is to start with the darkest parts of your paintings and also to draw out the finest details first, but only the darkest contours of it. An example is to draw out the outlines of the eyes, the lips and the nose, and also the eyebrows. Here on my study I already transferred my reference photo onto my painting surface. This way I could easily follow the lines and fill them in with a dark color first. I either trace my reference photo onto my painting surface, or I freehand it, or I trace a drawing onto my painting surface. This is totally up to you. Having the dark areas laid down in the beginning helps me to guide me to the complete painting process. I can orient myself on those darker areas while I fill in the rest of the portrait. Next technique. Whenever you have a certain color already mixed on your palette, try to apply this color everywhere you can find it on the canvas. For example, here I mixed this brownish red and applied it on as many places as I could find on my reference photo. Next technique. You might want to focus on specific areas of your portrait that are especially difficult first. Those areas could be the eyes, the nose or the lips. When I was younger, I was very hesitant to tackle those difficult areas first. I would work around them everywhere but not on those difficult areas. But I find it now way better to tackle them first so I can concentrate and focus the most in the beginning of the oil painting session, and afterwards I can concentrate on the rest of the portrait. Also, once I have completed something difficult like the eyes, I feel way more confident to tackle the rest of the painting. Next technique. Work like a caterpillar. I know this sounds totally weird, but I like to call my way of painting like a caterpillar. And with this I mean, after I have finished a small portion of my portrait, for example the eye, I mix all the colors that touch on this area and I create a circle or a shape around this area until I touch the next portion or feature of the face. It is like a little caterpillar that eats its way through the foliage and leaves until it has nothing left to eat. And I like this technique for certain parts of the portrait because I can create blendings between the colors with the brush strokes that follow this particular motion and circular dynamic that I create with those shapes. For example, with my brush, I follow the form of the eye. It's like a circle that gets enhanced around the eye. So whenever you create a new brush stroke, it can blend into the previously laid down brush strokes. And this way you have a blending and it already looks like a finished part of the painting. Next tip. Use a lot of different colors to create skin tones. Don't only use one beige tone for your portrait, unless you intentionally want to create maybe a more illustrative look. But if you're going for a realistic outcome, keep in mind that skin has so many different colors. I used a reference photo for this study that I found on the internet, and I enhanced the colors in the photo, especially the reds and the greens, so that it can look more lively and maybe more convincing than the regular fashion model photo that you can find in magazines. And then when I paint, I even enhance and exaggerate those skin colors. I also try to think that skin is like a patchwork, so I apply those different skin tones everywhere where I can find them on my portrait, while also applying the caterpillar method simultaneously. When you paint, you don't have to follow strict rules. It's not an exact science. You can apply different techniques that work best for you. I like to change techniques while I paint, and I always think what technique fits best to fill in a specific portion of my painting. Also, next tip for you, use the right brushes for your painting process. I personally love to work with flat brushes in different sizes. I use a very small detail brush, like the one you could see in the beginning, to fill in the very fine details of my portrait, but for all other areas of the portrait I use flat brushes. Especially when I want to fill in a large portion of skin, I use a larger brush. This way I can get beautiful brush strokes that also look bold and convincing. And the last tip for you, when you want to paint skin tones, I can recommend yellow ochre, olive green, burnt sienna, Naples yellow warm, grey blue, and all the cadmium tones. With this range of colors you can create very convincing skin tones. But of course, if you are on a budget, you don't have to buy all of them. Then I would only recommend yellow ochre, burnt sienna, cadmium red light, a yellow and a green tone. I like to work with Schmincke, Sennelier and Rembrandt, but you don't have to use those specific brands either. There are wonderful brands in every country available and on every continent. For example, in Russia you can get St. Petersburg's paint, which are of very good quality, and in the US gambling colors are very good. So don't feel pressure to buy expensive colors from overseas that are more expensive in your country. By the way, all materials that I used to create this study are listed down in the description of the video. Now, if you want to see how I finished this portrait study and came to this result, support me on Patreon at the $5 reward tier. This portrait study is available as a 1 hour and 20 minutes long step-by-step painting lesson for you. Not only is the video in real time, you also get to see my mixing process in a second camera window so that you can perfectly understand my painting and color mixing techniques. This lesson is available for only $5, so go to patreon.com/leobarbrückner and join today. And if you want to learn more, I have lots of tutorials and real-time lessons available for you on my Patreon site, in which I teach you my technique in detail and step by step. In many of my videos you even get to see my mixing process in a second camera window, and you can download the reference photo too. On top of that, all videos are downloadable and you can keep them forever. For just $5 a month, you get instant access to over 70 painting videos. That's pretty neat, right? And for only $10, you get access to another whole library of underrated but even longer real-time videos of all my recent artworks. If you have seen some of my works and you always wondered how I did them, then this pledge is the right one for you. Just visit my website and browse the tutorial section. There you will find a list of all lessons and real-time videos available. And for the extra portion of art, you might even fancy the art surprise tier. For only $5 more, I send you a beautiful set of 3 unique art gifts each month. I chose the best artworks and illustrations that I created and turned them into beautiful magnets, stickers and postcards, which are not only wonderful decorations for your home, but also are rare collectibles, because once I send them out, they won't be available anywhere else and I don't reprint them. So get your art surprises package this month. So what are you waiting for? Up your painting game and join me now on patreon.com/leobarbrückner. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please leave a comment, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I hope I see you on the next one. Bye!